NCIS has been one of the most successful network TV shows for almost 3 decades now. And even to this day, it is one of the most viewed TV shows in the United States. The show revolves around the fictional Naval Criminal Investigative Service and has won a lot of praise in the past. However, the show's future is now uncertain, and there are now even rumors that it might be canceled. Is Mark Harmon leaving the show? Mark Harmon has been the star of NCIS since the show first started 18 years ago. His character, Leroy Gibbs, has been one of the show's most beloved characters, and truly one of those characters that made the show the success it is today. However, in June of this year, there were media reports that Mark Harmon was seeking a limited schedule for the 19th season of NCIS. Mark doesn't have a multi-year contract with NCIS, and prior to this, his contract was renewed on a year-to-year basis. For the longest time, it was unclear how limited Mark wanted his presence to be on the show this season. But it all became clear to us in one of the most recent episodes of the show when, after Gibbs and Timothy solve a case in Alaska, Gibbs lets Timothy know that he will not be returning to New York and that he plans on remaining in Alaska, effectively leaving his job at NCIS. He left the organization to find peace, although he didn't exactly know what he was looking for. So, for now, Mark Harmon is off the show. Since the character wasn't killed off, it's still unclear whether he would be eventually coming back to the show after the character of Gibbs finds himself or not. Mark Harmon doesn't really have any other shows or movies lined up. It seems as if NCIS was the only thing he was working on. There's always a chance they bring him back, but for now, mainly due to his own personal decision, he's gone. Is the show phoning it in? Gibbs' departure was extremely sad for fans to have to deal with, but at the same time, they were excited to see what direction the show would go in from the next episode and eagerly waited for it. Prior to the episode, Gibbs had left and Parker replaced him as the team leader. When the episode began, however, fans were shocked to see Gibbs on the screen again. Not just that, Parker was no longer the team leader. Fans were left wondering what was going on until they realized that this isn't a new episode, but rather a rerun from a season 18 episode. Since NCIS doesn't really play reruns and a new episode was announced, fans took to Twitter to try to figure out what exactly was going on. As soon as they checked in on the official NCIS Facebook and Twitter pages, they were greeted with a meme with no mention of a rerun. Fans were obviously upset. If they were gonna play a rerun instead of a new episode, the least they could have done was announce it. But the showrunners decided to let fans be disappointed by the lack of a new episode after they'd been waiting for a week. Thankfully, the next episode, scheduled to air on November 1st, is not going to be a rerun. It'll be a brand new episode that focuses on the aftermath of Gibbs leaving the group and Parker's ability as the new leader. It'll be interesting to see where things go from here. What are NCIS ratings like? The last time that NCIS was the top-rated show on network TV was in the 2015-16 television season. Back then, the show averaged around 12.8 million views per episode, which was even higher than NFL's Sunday Night Football average, which was around 12.6 million viewers an episode. Since then, the show fell to second place for the following 2 years, and its average per episode went down to 11.4 million and 10.3 million in the respective years. In the 2019-2020 network television season, NCIS fell to third place, averaging around 9.6 million viewers an episode. Now, this does not mean that NCIS is failing as a show. It's still clearly one of the highest rated shows in the world. However, it does give an indication that it has peaked. And with the show's most popular character gone, its ratings are only going to further decline. Furthermore, with the rise of streaming services impacting the popularity of network TV overall, shows like NCIS simply aren't in demand anymore. Is NCIS coming to an end? The following ratings aren't exactly a concern for CBS, and NCIS is still enough of a cash cow for the network to continue making money. But with Gibbs out of the picture, along with so many other beloved cast members that have already left the show, exactly how far will CBS even be able to stretch this show out? If the showrunners want to have the show retain some of its magic, they need to end the show as soon as possible. After all, the show is already approaching its organic end. It makes no sense for it to continue with even more seasons. So far, the show has only been renewed up until season 19, which is the season we are currently in right now. However, CBS tends to give pretty short notice when it orders new seasons, so we never know whether they'll order more seasons or not yet. It would be pretty shocking if CBS decides to put the show to rest in season 19, and we'll probably see at least another season, if not two, before it actually ends. However, the only thing that really matters is that the show continues to be good, which is easier said than done. As for the spin-off shows, NCIS New Orleans has already come to an end this year, being replaced by NCIS Hawaii, with the original spin-off NCIS Los Angeles continuing to this day. Fan reactions to the latest seasons. Despite there being some negativity around the way CBS has been handling things with the show, when it comes to fan reception of the past few seasons, things couldn't be better. Season 17 was pretty well received, although it was mainly considered an average season. There were some high points of that season, such as an episode, In the Wild, and the season finale, The Arizona, which is widely considered to be the absolute best episode of that season and one of the best episodes of the show overall. But there were also more than a few low points, such as episodes Institutionalized and Blarney. Season 18 was considered an improvement, despite being extremely limited by the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The actors and crew had to work hard and get tested as much as 3 times a week. They were constantly putting their lives at risk just to make sure that fans of the show would have what they wanted. They actually managed to incorporate the pandemic into some of the storylines, which were also well received. As for season 19, it has been pretty well received so far, but we don't really know what direction the fan reaction will go towards after the departure of Mark Harmon. Ironically, the episode where he actually left was also almost universally praised. NCIS Hawaii. While there's still speculation on whether or not NCIS will eventually end, the franchise itself is not going anywhere just yet. After the end of NCIS New Orleans, fans were pleased to know there would be another NCIS show to take its place. NCIS Hawaii, which came out earlier this year, is the first show in the franchise to feature a female lead character, with Vanessa Lakey playing the role of Jane Tennant. The show received positive reviews overall, although the ratings weren't as great as CBS was expecting, while its predecessor, NCIS New Orleans, was averaging around 7 million viewers by the end of its run. The Hawaii version of the show is barely cracking around 5 million views per episode. The first episode wasn't very well received, although the rest of the episodes improved upon the quality, but saw a decline in viewership. NCIS LA. NCIS Los Angeles has been the franchise's longest-running spin-off, having been on the air since 2009. NCIS LA stars Chris O'Donnell as G. Callan, who is the NCIS special agent in charge of the Office of Special Projects. The premise of this show is pretty similar to the original NCIS show, albeit in a Los Angeles setting. NCIS LA was extremely successful when it first began, but with every single season so far, they've experienced a decline in viewership. While that may be because of the waning popularity of network TV in general, the drop was far more drastic than the general trend. The show still managed to pull an average of 7.8 million viewers an episode during its 12th season, but since season 13 began, it has barely been pulling in 5 million views an episode. While the spin-offs are completely separate shows, they may be an indication of how the popularity of NCIS in general has been dropping over the years, and that may also spell trouble for the show's future. That is a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.